Good day. Today is August 30, 2023. We almost entering into 24. August, September, October, November, December. 4 months from now, we're gonna end into 2023. Now today, I have a very amazing conversation with this American guy. And he found me on my platform. He said he's a businessman. He said that he has mine in Mozambique. But he doesn't understand what he was reading on my platform. I am not here to babysit you guys. I'm not. I am here to sell. Now, the seller who owned the gold, he hired Wilhelmina to handle sales and marketing on their behalf. For short, I am their marketing consultant and mandate. I am your business facilitator. Now, this guy from United States, he said he has a mine in Mozambique. And I asked him, how did you found me? And he said he found my platform. And I asked him, did you read the full corporate offer called FCO? And he said he didn't read properly. So when I interviewed him for an hour, he's a lot of bullshit, excuse my language. Lot of ask question, and I given him the answer. And I told him, I am not here to teach people. You're a businessman, you should know your business. You should know your needs. And he said that he has a mine in Mozambique. But Mozambique is short supply. Because in Mozambique, they have gold. But you cannot buy gold in Mozambique if you don't have this. Because the price of gold in Mozambique, less 2 or 3%. They don't sell cheap price. They don't. So in every country, have a different tax bracket. So what I have done, I put everything online because I want to educate those buyer thinking that they can get gold for nothing. Gold is not for free. Gold is money you are buying. You are buying money to make money. I am not here to teach you. You're a businessman. You should know. You read the full corporate offer, what necessary you are going to comply. Now you come to Wilhelmina, I did interview with you, and I open your camera, and it's late in United States. I can sense this buyer is just only measuring my brain. That's fine, you measure my brain. I am here to answer your question, but and I told him, you a silly question, I've given you silly answer. He mentioned about Brinks. I told him, Brinks is only logistic. Right? He based in United States. I don't know where he gonna bring the gold. So I told him, you have an account to Brinks. You arrange the Brinks because my seller have his own in-house logistic. So you have an option. You have to pay the gold first to the seller. Then the gold will be handed over to Brinks. That is your responsibility. So this is F.O.B. This is not CIA. This is not HBLC. This is cash business. You are buying the world asset. So therefore, you need to have cash available in your bank account to convince us. Now, you come to Wilhelmina because I'm the only person who put everything online, right? And please, do not come to Wilhelmina if you don't understand what you are reading. Going back to buying gold in Africa, either in Mali, Conakry, and Sierra Leone. I only handle sellers that authorize me to market around the world. We are now on the social media, right? Buyer can search supply, just like this American guy. He called me on my number, and he was saying that he is a buyer. He said he is from Mozambique. Mhm. So I listened to him. He said he has a mine in Mozambique. And he said that he's a buyer of gold and other precious mineral like emeralds, diamond. Okay? So I listened to this gentleman. I don't want to mention his name. I have his name and number. And he requested me to open my camera. And I did. And I met him. But I told him, you already saw Wilhelmina. My video are everywhere on my platform like Facebook and my YouTube. So he asked a lot of questions, which I did give him the blunt answer. Now our selling price is less 8% LBMA. Now this 8% is really generous. You go to Mozambique, you buy to the government, you're lucky to get 2%. There's so many offer on the social media, undervalued. There's 35, there's 40, 42, there's 48. That is how to ignite you. That price is going to tease you in order for you to believe. But when you are on the ground, it's not the price because there is a tax. There is a government sales tax called valued added tax. Now, the seller would not tell you this. I'm the one who introduced this in order for the real buyer to comprehend that you are buying the world precious asset. You are buying money to make money. Gold is a solid cash versus your paper money. That paper money, you get the lighter and you burn your paper money, it would vanish in just a second. But when you burn the gold, when the gold is melt, it's still gold. So this gold produced in Dubai, where the raw materials coming from? Africa. I purchased this necklace in Dubai when I was there last year. My last transaction successful was November 2022. Now this gentleman is very curious about me. And he asked me how many transactions, and I told him it depends on the buyer, right? Now I purchased this necklace different. This is 18 carats. This one is 12 carats because in every carats the price is different. I purchased the gold to my husband. It's a very expensive, was $4,000. This one is $3,000, right? This is 18 carats. Now you are buying raw material, which is Dore bar, 22 plus. Sometimes the bar 22.80, 22.52. It depends. That is called 23 carats. The most important is the purity. The gold in Africa, the purity is from 95, 96, 97, 98. So don't bank on it because you have not seen the gold. You need to test the gold in order to see the carats and the purity. Now, you're going to say, what is the price, our selling price based on the world market? Today, the price of gold is 62, less 8%. Tax included. Now, you're going to say, why 8%? Actually, our selling price really less 5%. But because you come to Wilhelmina, Wilhelmina is giving you incentives. In return, you are using Wilhelmina's services, right? You are using services of Wilhelmina to secure gold in Mali, Conakry, Sierra Leone. Now, my services is not for free. I do charge my services extra in order to educate you. Now, I'm not going to educate you further because you are abusing my kindness. You keep on asking questions, pretending that you are dumb, but you are not dumb. You are just want to suck in my knowledge. I've given you my knowledge worth $1 million already. But you are not reading the full corporate offer. That is very extensive knowledge. I put what necessary you are going to comply. You need to send a formal letter of interest to purchase. It says on every video and also on my platform on Facebook. It says, after you read the full corporate offer, send us the letter of interest coming from you, your email, your company letterhead, the where the gold to be delivered. Right. What quantity you are going to get it. And how are you able to purchase? How are you able to pay? Now you're gonna say, well, Amina, I'm going to buy gold brings to brings. The brings will not entertain unless the owner of the gold will provide you as a buyer full export documentation, as a report, certificate of clearance, the ownership, right? Custom clearance, and etc. It's already here. Click below and subscribe. Now, don't come to Wilhelmina if you are dumb, because this is not for dumb business. You know what is dumb means? You're dumb. This is not for dumb buyer. This is for the real buyer. So probably this buyer, he just want to suck in my brain. He already suck in anyway. So I cut my conversation to him. I'm very polite. And I told him, nice talking to you. Go back and read. Then when you are ready, you come back. Now going back to my services. Yes, my services is not for free. I've given you full knowledge already, but you're abusing my kindness. But it's okay. Because I want you to learn, I want you to understand that if you don't have cash in your bank account, $1 million, to me, you're not a buyer. Really, you're not. You are just pretending to be a buyer. To me, you're a joker buyer. Right? You are. I'm telling you. Because you already know that this business is a real business. You pretend to ask a lot of questions which I've given you. You're lucky that I've given you the answer. You talk to other seller, he wouldn't give you this kind of this silly answer, your silly question. I've given you already silly answer. Right. That is the reason why I put everything on my platform. I just have a conversation with the buyer. I don't know if he is a buyer or not. To me, he is not really. The way I look at it, I analyze, I psychologize on the voice. And when he asked me to open my camera and his camera, I psychologize. He's just pretending to be a buyer. Yes. I'm very smart, my dear. I used business psychology. He invited me to come to United States. I said, yes, I can come. But that not at the moment, because I am scheduled to have my personal holiday. And he asked me where I come from. He didn't get the point. He didn't. I introduced myself on every video. This is Wilhelmina. I'm based in Australia. This is Wilhelmina Ford. I'm Mrs. Ford. But he didn't pick the language of my conversation. To me, he's not really a buyer. He's not. And I told him, I live in this country, therefore I'm Australian citizen. He didn't pick up. Suddenly he accepted that, yes, I didn't realize. What a foolish guy. Really, to be honest with you. So he dig my personal question. I've given him a blunt have personal, because that is not his business to know my personal. His business is to know how he's able to pay. His business is to send me a letter of interest that he is really a buyer, for me to distinguish whether he is a buyer or not. Then I would know which seller I'm going to place this idiot buyer. Either I put him in Mali, Sierra Leone, or Conakry, because I handle 3 countries. I only handle when the seller appointed me. And he asked me, show me your mandate letter. I would like to show it to you guys when you send me your letter of interest. I will only show it to you when you send me your business registration, importation license, passport copy, and the proof of fund that you have $1,000,000. Then I will attach my appointment letter from the head office that I am their mandate. At the same time, you are my client. I am your business facilitator. I have 2 jobs. You come to Wilhelmina because you cannot find the gold. You cannot find the supply. So you come to this lady, but you are not reading. You're dum-dum. I call you dum-dum. Because if I am a buyer, I would not ask question. Really, I wouldn't. I have to read thoroughly why I need the gold, how I'm able to get it, how I'm able to pay. That it's already in front of you. But you guys, you pretend to be dumb. That is the worst. I only recognize you. You are a time waster. When my seller hired Wilhelmina, the seller didn't teach me. The seller didn't explain to me. No, I did put together because Africa has been tarnished by you, Mr. Buyer, because you think that you can get cheap price. Gold is not cheap, I told you. There are so many fake offer in order to trap you. I'm not here to trap you. You're lucky to meet Wilhelmina that I put everything, what necessary requirement you are going to comply, what necessary requirement you are going to get when you travel with Wilhelmina. I do charge my extra service. Take it or leave it. My extra service is $20,000 to cover my airfare, hotel accommodation, and miscellaneous expenses. If you cannot afford to pay my extra service $20,000 to me, you cannot afford to pay the products. You cannot. So then you've been roaming around and roaming around and roaming around. At the end of the day, you stumble down again to Wilhelmina. So I'm sorry, guys. Don't waste my time. You pretend to be a buyer. Good that you talk to Wilhelmina. I miss your brain already. To me, you're not a buyer. Really. Now, last night, before I close, because I opened my digital office 9 o'clock until midnight. There was a guy from India. He sent money to Sierra Leone of $25,000, and the gold didn't arrive. And he was begging me to help him. And I told him, how did you know my number? Madam, I searched on YouTube, I found you. And then, did you really read it? Madam, can you advise me? I said, why? I sent money to Sierra Leone, that the 50 kilos, I sent $25,000 to pay taxes. And I told him, you should not send money. You need to travel in order to inspect what you order. 50 kilos, $25,000 is not enough. Why are you paying taxes for that you have not paid the gold? Are you silly? Are you crazy? That is normal. You have to pay the gold plus government sales tax. Now what happened? This Indian guy, he come to me. He said that the gold will ship it to India. I said, no, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. Because in every country, you need to pay the gold to the seller in order to reflect the cash inflow. The cash inflow means that you paid the gold to the buyer, to the seller. The buyer paid the gold to the seller, and the seller will apply for the certificate of clearance that the buyer did pay his product. Then the government will certify that the gold is free of illegal activities. Mhm. The seller wouldn't explain to you like this. Mhm. So what happened? This poor Indian guy, he sent me his passport. He's very young. Then he lost $25,000. Whose fault is that? It's you, Mr. Buyer. Not my fault. Mhm. I have my seller in Sierra Leone. I would not entertain you guys if you're already on the ground, and I would not entertain you if you encounter disaster because you didn't come to Wilhelmina. You only come to Wilhelmina when you are in disastrous situation. That is not my job. I'm not a policewoman. I'm not. Mhm. So what happened? Disaster. Now there was a couple that they have a disastrous situation when they were in Conakry. Now I send an email, a message to the wife that I am traveling by October. I want to meet her husband. Because the husband was angry. Whose fault is that? And the wife knows me. Excuse me. The wife knows me for 2 years. Window shopping, and they were being offered. Excuse me. They were being offered cheap price. I have to drink water. Excuse me. They were being offered cheap price. The gold didn't arrive in Dubai. Whose fault is that? The buyer. The seller will only ignite you. The seller doesn't care for you. The seller only needs the money. Well, I may not care for you. That is why you're paying me. The $20,000 is peanuts to cover my airfare, hotel accommodation, and miscellaneous expenses. Non-refundable. Whether success or not success, non-refundable. That is the reason why I need to validate you properly. You only pay my extra service when everything you receive it, then I will send you the invoice, the value of $20,000 to buy my ticket, hotel accommodation, and spending money. That's it. Once only. But if you want more services on the second shipment, yes, you are going to pay my services. Nothing to do with the government. That is my extra service. You are using my services. And if you don't want to pay, I can prepare the contract. The seller will send you the contract. You travel yourself. But if there is an issue, do not come back to Wilhelmina. Don't keep on calling me because African sellers are fickle-minded. Yes, he can deny you even though you sign a contract. Especially during the time you keep on bargaining in the office without me, then you are going to encounter tralala. I can guarantee you that. Then you're gonna say, I don't trust Africa. Seller doesn't trust you either. And me either. I don't trust you. Why? You're bullshit. You know Wilhelmina. You met Wilhelmina. You've been following me for many years. What happened? You come back to Wilhelmina. Then you tell me the sad stories. Both buyers and sellers encounter disaster. I'll tell you why. My seller lost $24 million. 2019, the seller's son and the buyer agree 100% CIF cost insurance and freight only. That 450 kilos worth $24 million. So the son traveled with the buyer in Paris, not knowing before the gold arrived in Paris, the gold has already been sold in advance. So when the buyer arrived and the son of the owner, the buyer cannot be found. So there was a commotion in the office. 2019, I was in the office 2020. The father was telling me that they lost $24 million. I asked them why. what happened? And without the knowledge of the father, excuse me, the son agree on 100% CIF, cost, insurance, and freight. That kind of buyer is a swindler. That kind of buyer is a thief. That kind of buyer is a smuggler. They try to teach the owner of the company to leverage, to smuggle it into his country in France. What happened though? The son stuck for 4 years in Paris. I just found out 2 months ago that the eldest son lost his life of stress. So when I was there in the office 2020, that buyers from Paris is not my buyer. It is the buyer of the company. Okay? It was being referred by someone else, though they were being excited. To me, I'm not really to be excited at all. Unless the buyer can show his proof of fund that he has $1 million in his bank account. And I have to scrutinize the buyer. That's why most of the buyers are scared with Wilhelmina. Yeah? Why are you going to be scared for? That is normal. You have to provide your vital information being a buyer, not cut and paste. Because I don't buy cut and paste. That is solicitation. I don't solicit. I don't chase you, Mr. Buyer. I don't. You're chasing Wilhelmina. I just put that on my platform on social media that we are here to do business. Here's the gold. You read, then you book, then you send a formal letter of interest, then Wilhelmina will validate your order. I am the one who will say yes or no. I am the one who will advise the office to proceed. I am the one who will put you either in Mali or either in Sierra Leone or either in Conakry. Right? So if I'm satisfied, yes, you will get the gold. Because I am going to travel with you. I am going to take you. I have to arrive in advance in order to meet you, in order to discuss in the office that, hey, the buyer is coming. We should perform, and you as the seller perform, because once you sign the contract, Wilhelmina is out of the picture. Yes. You are signing the contract between the buyer and the seller. Wilhelmina is going to guide you. I would be out of the picture when I take you to the office. That is why you have to read properly. Yes, your $20,000 is peanuts. That's only to cover my trip. Non-refundable. So don't ask me, right, about Wilhelmina. If this transaction fail, I have to get back the $20,000. No, you wouldn't, because I only mentioned you pay the extra non-refundable. To buy a ticket cannot be refunded. To stay in the hotel cannot be refunded. To take a taxi when I'm with you is non-refundable. Yeah? So therefore, you have to be prepared. You read the full corporate offer, whether you are suited or not. If you don't suit this business, please don't waste your time, and don't waste my time either. Right? Most of the buyers said, why should I pay? Wilhelmina, don't buy. Because to me, you wouldn't be able to afford. You don't have $1 million, really. You don't. You don't have $1 million. If you cannot convince Wilhelmina, I don't believe it. Oh, Wilhelmina, I want to buy diamond. Go and look at the page. Which video that you want to buy. Because the diamond, the carat, it varies prices to prices. So you do not come to Wilhelmina. What is the price, Wilhelmina? Tell me which stone you want to buy. It's on my platform. Circle it. What is stone? Because there is 2 kinds of parcel there on my platform. There is a 4,320. That is a value of $18 million in total. You wouldn't be able to afford it because that is a big parcel. There is a 1,000 carats you can afford. So you circle it, which stone you want to secure. Then when you circle it, you identify yourself who you are. Do not say hello because my name is not hello. And do not send hi because my name is not hi. My name is Wilhelmina Ford. If you're gonna send me hi, I'm going to block you. I'm going to delete you because you don't know how to introduce yourself. You don't. This is a professional business. This is a real business. You found me on my YouTube. You have to introduce me. Wilhelmina, I am Mr. So and so. I found your video. It's very interesting. I did read the full corporate offer. I hereby apply to buy gold or diamond on your company letterhead, your address in telephone number, email, etc., etc. So then when I receive it, I will call you. Let's do the video call by Skype. Let's do the video call on Skype. I want to interview you. Remember, our conversation would be recorded in order for you to have a file. So that when there is a discrepancy, you can have a file and I can have a file. Okay? Then you and me are safe. Because one way or another, there would be a discrepancy. So don't bullshitting with Wilhelmina. Because all our conversation is recorded in order for me to have a file and you. So don't be scared. Because I'm telling you, when you come for live conference, it is live. So most of the joker buyer, they're hiding for their faces. They're using fake picture. I don't use my fake picture. This is live. This is the beauty of Wilhelmina. See? I am live. I am live because I want to educate. I want to educate as well buyers and seller. It doesn't matter if he is my seller. It doesn't matter. African sellers are fickle-minded. Believe me. If the seller will say no problem, I don't want to buy no problem. Because at the end of the day, there would be a problem. I'm telling you. I don't use the word no problem. I already educated my seller that when I bring the buyer, we have to have a meeting and do not say no problem. Just say Mr. Buyer, Mr. Seller. Okay, Mr. Buyer, welcome to our office. Buyer Wilhelmina, thank you that you trust Wilhelmina. Wilhelmina is our mandate. So you as the buyer and the seller will discuss meeting first. So I was the one who introduced this, Mr. Buyer. You have to follow the golden rules of the country. Now, I'll give you my background. I used to be on real estate. Buying property, exactly the same. You are buying property of the country. You are. You buying apartment in your country. You buy property in your country. You buy house and lot in your country. Exactly the same. You have to inspect. You have to tell who you are. Have you been to the bank? Is your finance okay? Buying gold, exactly the same. There is no difference. So you need to convince Wilhelmina because I'm going to scrutinize you. I'm going to validate you. I am going to interview you live video call. If you are scared to me, you are not a buyer. You are not. Either you're a swindler or you're a thief. Because a swindler is scared to open their camera. A thief also is scared. Why? Because they don't want to be identified. That is the reason why Africa has a lot of issue because there's so many swindler, there's so many smuggler. Where the gold coming from in Dubai? Dubai has no gold. Most of the buyer bring it to Dubai because it's tax-free. Then they smuggle it. If you watch the video on Zimbabwe, there was a white guy and an Indian. The group of mafia smuggler. I watched that video on Zimbabwe on YouTube. This smuggler, they're buying 2%. Yes. And we're giving you 8%. You are benefit. And when you resell it to 2%, you still have 6%. But if you buy a small quantity and you're going to say, do I have to get the profit? Of course you will get the profit. You will not buying gold if you don't get the profit. Gold has many uses. Either you make into watch, gold, see? Either to make into necklace, to make into full set, spare parts on mobile phone, or 99.99. That is not my job. My job is I will take you to the office, you inspect your order, you like it, we'll assay, transfer the payment bank to bank. Simple as that. Mm-hmm. And don't come to Wilhelmina unless you read the full corporate offer in front of you. Don't. Because I am not here to babysit you. You read, when you understand, then we can do business. Mr. Buyer, don't be a fool. Because this is not for you. If you think you can get handsome profit, you're asking huge discount. Mr. Buyer, you have no idea how these villagers mine their gold. You have no idea. And you are sitting down, and then when you resell, you become multi-millionaire. And this miner, they're still poor. Why? Because of you. You are crook. You are a swindler. You're a thief. That is why the government has changed. Now you're gonna say how much is the tax in Mali? You did not read. The tax in Mali is in front of you. And then you're gonna say how much the tax in Sierra Leone and Conakry. Still you didn't read. Still you didn't. I don't want to expand it anymore. Because I want you to learn. You went to school, you must remember. You did pay your tuition fee. Right? I went to school. My parents sent me to school. My parents pay my tuition fee in order for me to learn. I learned the knowledge. But this gold business is a hands-on practical business. Mm-hmm. As long as you pay the products plus government sales tax. You would not learn this to university. You learn it from Wilhelmina, from University of Hard Knocks. Mm-hmm. I met a guy, he's a professor in Conakry. He's a German guy. Right? He said to me, Wilhelmina, you are so kind. And I watch your video and your interview. Most of the interviewer that you interviewed, they are abusing your kindness. They are all scrupulous. I said, yes. But I love to play the scrupulous buyer. Why? Because that scrupulous buyer, he would come back and he will make us make an order. I don't discriminate, but I'm very blunt. You must remember, I'm very brutal. Why? I done it purposely because I want to educate you. I know you need the supply. I know that. But you pretend to be dumb. I've been to Dubai many times. Right? So don't be a fool, Mr. Buyer. I just finished having a conversation with the buyer. I consider him. I think he's a fool guy. Mhm. But I love to discuss. I love to entertain. Why? While I'm entertaining you, Mr. Buyer, I start to wonder. I analyze our voice conversation. I use business psychology. So you have no idea. So you meet this lady that have a knowledge worth $1 million. If you have $1 million, yeah, we can do business. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant good afternoon and good morning to you. Don't bank on it because our selling price always based on the world market. Whatever the world market, our selling price less 8%, tax included. You are lucky because I requested my head office, let's give the buyer a good discount, 8% tax included, except shipping cost, except insurance. So at the end of the day, you're a winner. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant good afternoon. Here in Australia, it's already 2:48 in the afternoon. Thank you. Enjoy. When you wake up, you will meet this lady again on her platform on YouTube and on Facebook.